The NFL Draft Combine is officially today. Now, with that being said, we have heard nothing but good news, great news, massive news regarding Antonio Pierce, Tom Telesco, and the Las Vegas Raiders regarding what they are planning to do over the next few weeks. And guys, you're not going to want to miss this. There was just some breaking news according to ESPN's Jeremy Fowler that we're going to get into in just a second. But let me tell you this. Don't be surprised if in a couple of weeks from now, you see a top-tier quarterback end up with the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, before we jump into the video, listen to what Antonio Pierce had to say about an NFL draft prospect that could potentially be ending up in Vegas as a Raider.
You know, you know what I mean? And I ain't gonna lie, I walked away from something that, you know, I was building. You know, I had a quarterback there that I recruited, Jayden Daniels. Had a corner there in Jack Jones, receiver in Ayuk, Rashad White, and a bunch of other NFL-type players. And they came here because they trusted me. And it hurt me to walk away from it. And as you saw, and if you haven't, just read on it, most of those guys left. You know, Jayden Daniels left and won the Heisman. Yeah. I knew that, you know.
We saw him at the last game.
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
Now, the one thing we know about Antonio Pierce in his time at Arizona, the man was a master recruiter. This right here is Jack Jones. He was drafted to the New England Patriots, had a great season, ended up being cut a few years later, and now is on the Raiders where he is starting to break out again. He mentioned some other names as well. Brandon Ayuk, who is currently a free agent, or potentially not a free agent, but a guy who is in the mix to be traded this season. And then you have a guy like Jayden Daniels, who went to Arizona to be coached by Antonio Pierce. Guys, I'm telling you, Antonio Pierce is going to bring one thing to the NFL, and that is recruitment, right? Now, we talk about free agency, we talk about the NFL draft. Guys want to play for this man right here, and that alone will make the Raiders so much better of a team this offseason in terms of bringing talent in. This team is about to take over the NFL. Just watch. Now, according to Jeremy Fowler, this is the big news. The Las Vegas Raiders, quote-unquote, could be a mover and a shaker around draft time. Now, he also said his connection with Jayden Daniels, the former LSU Heisman winner, there's a really strong connection there. It is strong enough to move them from 13 to a top 5 pick? Yes, I think it is. Now, do they have the ammo to go out and get a guy like Jayden Daniels? I don't know. Now, real quickly, guys, comment down below, what do you think a trade package would look like if the Raiders did want to go out there and add Jayden Daniels to this quarterback room? I'll tell you right now, if they make it happen, he will change everything for the Las Vegas Raiders.
I mean, I thought he could win the Heisman. That was my recruiting pitch. They could win the Heisman. God damn, he won the Heisman. That was cool. I'm like, then he called my name out. I said, that's even cooler. Man, just proud of him. When I was recruiting Jay, 150 pounds wet, everybody was like, well, he's getting this little skinny dude from San Bernardino. What I saw as a winner. I saw a guy that's really competitive. Always out to prove people wrong. Been doubted his whole life because of size or certain attributes about him, physically or mentally. And I think all he's done is prove people wrong. And it was going to watch him do it at the highest level of college football, SEC.
Now, before we jump into what it may take, a potential trade scenario that could actually happen for the Raiders to get up there and maybe select a guy like Jayden Daniels, this piece of news just broke as well. Jayden Daniels has already met with the Raiders during the draft combine. He is all in on wanting to go to the Raiders. He knows Antonio Pierce, the connection is real, and they're already starting to figure out what it may take to pick him up in this year's draft. But more importantly, what the trade may look like. Let's look at that as well. I want to pitch a trade to you guys. Now, this one is from Ryan Fowler of Bleacher Report. He said this trade would send the number 13 overall selection, a 2024 second round pick, a 2025 first round pick, a 2026 second round pick to the New England Patriots in exchange for the number 3 pick. Then the Raiders would acquire Jayden Daniels with this selection. Now, in the comment section down below, let me know, yes or no, would you make this trade? If not, what else would you, or what do you not want to give up, or what would you rather give up in terms of acquiring this pick for Jayden Daniels. But also comment down below the number 2 if you want to, take your chances at number 13 and take a Michael Penix or a Bo Nix or whoever may be there. Would you rather just wait and play that waiting game? Let me know what you guys would rather do. Now, before I get into the last big piece of news and tell you guys actually why I think Jayden Daniels would be a good fit, do me a quick favor, hit that like button just so we can get this video to more Raiders fans, but also subscribe if you're new. It is free. It doesn't cost you a thing to subscribe. You can also turn on post notifications so you're notified every time we drop some news regarding the Las Vegas Raiders, so make sure you guys do that as well. But lastly, comment down below, do you think the Raiders should do whatever it takes to go and get Jayden Daniels, or should they be patient? And also comment down below the number 2 if you think Jayden Daniels would make the Raiders a playoff team next season. But with that being said, let's jump right back into this next big piece of news. Now, this next piece of news is not major, but it does, kind of slow things down a little bit in this draft process. LSU quarterback Jayden Daniels, the projected top 5 selection right now, will not throw at the NFL Scouting Combine. He'll actually wait until LSU's Pro Day on March 27th. But that doesn't change anything, right? The fact that he's not throwing at the NFL Draft Combine, it doesn't change a thing. Caleb Williams isn't expected to throw as well, and there are some other quarterbacks, like Michael Penix and Bo Nix and JJ McCarthy, who are expected to throw. Don't let that make you think that this is going to hurt the draft stock of Jayden Daniels, and even if it does, that only benefits what the Raiders are trying to do. We already know how good of a player he is. He played in the SEC. He has a phenomenal deep ball. Does struggle at times in terms of his inconsistent accuracy, in terms of short passes, intermediate passes, but we know the potential he has as a quarterback, and the Raiders won't think twice if they have the opportunity to go out and get him. Now, in my opinion, I would do whatever it takes to acquire Jayden Daniels. Not only does he already have that connection with head coach Antonio Pierce, but he was actually a guest during the Raiders game in Week 18 versus the Denver Broncos. We saw at the end of that interview with, Max Crosby and Antonio Pierce that they were like, yeah, we ended up actually seeing Jayden Daniels at the Raiders game. He's like, interesting, right? Yes, there is a connection there. But obviously, his play alone was good enough to win the Heisman Trophy this season. And, for him joining the Raiders, it would just make sense. He scored 50 combined touchdowns last season for LSU, winning the Heisman, and there are just so many benefits to adding a guy like Jayden Daniels who can throw the ball very well, but also has the feet, the playmaking ability on his legs to make anything happen at any point in time. Now, with that being said, there are a ton of question marks in terms of what the Raiders are going to do in this draft and in this free agency. Tom Telesco has a lot of work to do. Now, comment down below what position is the biggest need. Is it a quarterback? Is it another impactful defensive player? I feel like the offense already has a ton of weapons, but do they bring back their guy Josh Jacobs, or do they go in a different direction? I am super excited to see what Antonio Pierce and Tom Telesco do this offseason. Comment down below a couple of players from the free agency pool that you guys want the Raiders to go and try to acquire, but also comment down below a couple of names in the NFL draft that you think the Raiders should be poised and really be doing their homework on to see if they can acquire this NFL draft. With that being said, go check out BetUS. You can actually bet on who the Raiders will take and so many other things for this NFL season. Guys, they just gave away Super Bowl tickets, and if you sign up using my promo code in the description, they will not only match your first deposit up to 125%, but they're going to do so much to give back to the community. Like I said, they gave away Super Bowl tickets. Just imagine, just think about what they're going to do next. Go check them out. Use my code in the description. Sign up, and I'll see you guys in the next Raiders update, which should be very, very soon.